before I give the floor to the guests, there is one important thing that we need to talk about, because there is one specialized part and then others are not specialized. But for the non-specialized persons, I would like to say something that has been presented by Dr. Mahmoud and Dr. Ehab, so that it will clear all the confusion. When we have an infrastructure, so the infrastructure, we install systems on such an infrastructure. Maybe it could be like the system of the antiquities, or it's so the yeah, here we are focusing on the infrastructure. The systems that could be installed on top of them may be different. The Ministry of Communications have presented the infrastructure and they have presented the different systems. So we do not want to go deep into the systems, because the systems are a very big subject, a very detailed topic, and it has very lots of points of view. So I think, like Dr. Ehab, there are many aggressive systems in the, or 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 aspects in the systems, and we will not blame it on the ministry, on Ministry of Communication. And also the Ministry of Communication, we always call it Ministry of Communication, but its name, it's Ministry of Communication and Information Technology. But since it has been established in the year 2000, it has been managed by a communication engineer. That's why they were focusing on building the communication infrastructure and all the equipment, because I myself, I'm not worried about the idea of the infrastructure of Egypt. It is ready, it is advanced. And since the time of Dr. Ahmed Nazif and Dr. Tarek Kamil, the only one who was an information engineer is Dr. Magad Osman, because Ahmed Nazif also was a communication engineer. If we if you read the strategy of Dr. Ahmed Nazif, it was all communications. And also, I am not, and also the objective here is not the information, it's mainly the communication, infrastructure and technology. So now we will go and answer Dr. Ehab's. So Dr. Ehab, I really thank you for your good questions. And as I told you, in a phase now where we see the readiness on how to build a G cloud, and we don't have a G cloud yet, and we are a data center ready with the facilities, and the G cloud part is a big part. And if you were able to come and visit the ministry's location, you will find the part related to the cloud strategy, which has been published since 2014, and it has a very good business model and ecosystem. And we are now in a phase of trying to transferring the strategy into an action plan. So we really need to build a governance model. We need the security standards that's already embedded into the strategy. We need what are the standards to be available for the G Cloud. We need the programs and the initiatives that are there. So the idea of security is one of the topics that's a priority for us within the G Cloud, and this will save a lot of things inside the government from the backdoors and vulnerabilities that are there, because we'll host everything in one place, and we'll put all the securities and policies that we need. On the opposite, now every government entity is working on solo on its own, and put the technology and work on a data center. We have all of this in the consideration. The security of the G Cloud. We are not working on our own. We have many entities that are working with us. We have sovereign entities. We have the Ministry of Communication. We have all the entities are working together in order to have a security standard to fulfill the requirements of the government. The other part, which is, so did I answer your question then? You have said that there is a security standard in the G policies, and there are only two internationally, and I haven't seen one based on a technology and one based on other things. So if there is a possibility to raise this issue in order to have just a model, but it should be a model for the security, because we have multi-tenancy inside the ministry, and multi-tenancy inside the ministries, and we have other entities in the multi-tenancy. And this is the most important thing, the security component. If you have reviewed the strategy, we will find that our reference is a NIST standard, and it has a required security, and it has a security standard, and it is published in 2016. So maybe this we can share this together with you. But I am telling you, we are still building. We haven't chosen the security model which will be within the She Cloud. I agree with you, but I would like to tell you that NIST 867 is not a cloud security framework. There are two: CSAM 3.0, the version now which is 125 control, and the standard now is with Microsoft. Now you can decide whatever you want, whether you want this model or the other model or another thing, but there should be a cloud security with full measures. So maybe the presentation done by Dr. Mahmoud, it has something, and I got the same, I got mixed in the same way. What is the future ambition, and what's happening currently? And maybe in the presentation he said it's underway or in its current, but because of doing the presentation very quickly, so please allow me, because I am a bit aware. I guess a major part of what is being presented is the ambition that we need, but this is not what's actually happening. So it's a ambition in the strategy, but not in the tactical way. The part you have mentioned, and which answered by Dr. Khalid, is the idea of the readiness of digitization within the system of law enforcement. We are starting with a model or a pilot project. We have started in Alexandria and North Giza, but you will find inside the project I didn't say that we have finished. I said that it's underway. So we started as a business model to work on the digitization, and this will be a model to be followed or mainstreamed later on by the different prosecutions department and courts of law. So this is underway, and it hasn't been surveyed yet, and we have a very big challenge that the information, that when you request information from a certain government entity, it's very difficult to get them. And of course, I know you know this very well, but there is no law that allows us to go and take such data. So we just work with people who have readiness. So we started in Alexandria Governorate and then in North Giza. But later on, we will have more information, and we will have a bigger vision or a complete vision on what to be done. And we have also requested that inside the digital society we should have something called the digitalization meter, so that we will be able to know where we are, or what kind of achievement, or what's the level of achievement, and where is our target, and what we are reaching within this target. So this will be done within the digital society community.
Second, on the part relevant to coverage, we referred to the fact that we have public Wi-Fi coverage. We have fiber satellite connection, fiber to home. We have a wide range of infrastructure means in order to deliver, but the problem is not in the infrastructure, but rather in the access and the bandwidth backhauling. What you refer to, the backhaul is weak, and we need to strengthen that in order to provide and deliver a high quality services to achieve citizens' satisfaction. But this is the best effort we could exert. Everyone is working hard, but we are understaffed because the back hold is closed, so we need to work on the back hole. We will increase it by 10 tera. We are aware of the problem. We are not praising our services and denying the complaints of the people. No, we are acutely aware, and you have every right to complain. Here we are working within the available resources. Second, internet-based industries are many. So, for example, e-payment, cash less are very promising industries. The state is for cashless and cashless societies, e-marketing. A while ago, we did not have Su.com, Jumia and the likes. You can buy on a portal. It's not spread enough in Egypt, but we are starting right. So this is one of the internet-based industries. Of course, hosting and portals are there. The main challenge is the IoT or the Internet of Things. Because later your car, elevator, lift, everything will be connected to the internet. This is the best model when it comes to internet based industry. Excuse me if I may, Fadi referred to exporting rather than local manufacturing. So allow me to answer this question in light of my previous experience. If you go to South Egypt, you would find many landlocked countries like South Sudan or Rwanda or Burundi. They get their internet services from two things. First, they have a fiber thread from Kenya to feed all these countries, and another thread from Tanzania to Rwanda, Burundi, Zambia, because Zambia is also a landlocked country. But what we are offering now is the fact that these countries want to develop, want to have data centers. That's why we suggested to the government to start a hub in Aswan and go through the Nile to reach the Great Lakes in Zambia and provide communication services through Aswan, provide communication services in Aswan, and then export services from there. And from Aswan, you can start another line to go to Flag. This is a simple example to set here on the potential available through your geographic location if you want to export e or telecommunication services. I want to refer to the point about the cost. I'm a consultant, so I study, review things not only from the passive component, but rather as a whole system. The statistics is not relevant to passive infrastructure. Passive infrastructure make less than 25%, but I study the active component. And this is what is very, very important. When we offer bids and tenders, we usually deal with passive component, but we have active. So, for example, splitting can be active or passive. The back end of the carrier or the ISP falls under my responsibility to estimate it. That's why it's very important for my work as a consultant to assess all this. When I speak about the GSM or the satellite, you are right, it's not easy, it's complicated, but what I meant is that in comparison to FTTH for every user, there is no comparison. Now you are referring to millions, and in other cases, it's hundred thousands, but it's daunting and time consuming, but easier because the state looks for a budget for FTTH, but companies do not look for budget the same way. They have a strategy through which they can enjoy credit facilities and close deals. That's why it's easier for them. Internet-based industries question was answered. Someone asked about the health system or the health sector and linking different hospitals. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know because I have been abroad for a while. I'm not sure if it's in place or not, but I can tell you not based on my knowledge, but through evidence. Can you get me someone who will be examined in hospital, who will come to see all the x-rays, the analyses compiled in an e-file in a public sector? Impossible. Philips started this a while ago, maybe 15 years ago. There was a tender uh, offered for back system equipment. I can remember that Philips GP, it was a very big tender. I met people back then because the health sector is a very complicated one. It's not about x-rays or data transfer. No, it's more complicated. So that was done in private sector companies. So in KSA or Bahrain, so Suleiman Al Habib Hospital, link all the centers, all the data centers. It's a real data center and not only one data center. They have three data centers and now they start data cleansing on a daily basis. That's why the private sector is good. What is lacking in country is the linkage among hospitals in Cairo. I want to link this to the previous workshop. Of course, the medical record is very, very critical because the medical record of people can tell you the health history, can tell you the soft spots you can work on to damage the person, reputation, or health. So, this should be. Confidential, and I cannot say that we are like Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, but from my own personal point of view, I don't want this data to be available to the private sector. My question is for Dr. Mahmoud. You refer to linking ministries together through the database and infrastructure. All the ministries should be connected and can communicate through the systems or through the links, but we did not discuss the softwares or the systems. Are the systems unified and standardized? Can ministers exchange information and data? So, for example, can all the daily procedures and services offered to citizens be electronic? Yes, this is the core. Now, I want to refer to electronic archiving. Can all these models and templates be archived through the same systems and software? Is this in place now or not yet? Now you said what Egypt needs. You summarized the 20 workshops now. So you're doing Dr. Mahmoud an injustice because the 20 workshops might not be enough to answer the three questions you posed: integration, coordination, automation versus digitization. This is everything. So I think it's more than enough for Dr. Mahmoud. And I want to thank all our panelists and thank all our attendees. Thank you all so much.